Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, for the opportunity to present SB 10 by our colleague in the Senate, Senator Bob Hertzberg, bail reform. Colleagues, with SB 10, we have the opportunity to fundamentally transform a broken, unjust, unfair, unsafe portion of our criminal justice system. And we have an opportunity to replace it with something more fair and more safe that is based on an individual's unique risks that they pose for flight or to the public safety. This will be a paradigm-shifting move in the criminal justice system whose time has come. We will be moving from a money-based system to a risk-based system. Our current money bail system is fundamentally broken. Our current system judges individuals by the size of their wallet instead of the size of their risk. In our current system, freedom and liberty is pay to play. If you have enough money and you can pay for it, you can be free, regardless of your safety risk, regardless of the risk of failing to show for your next hearing. If you don't, and even if you will show up at your next hearing and the court hearing after that, and even if you are no risk to the public, you wither away in jail and languish in jail. And that is wrong, and we can change it today. This is something that's been recognized widely throughout the nation and from leaders right here in this state. Our current Chief Justice, Justice Tani Kantil-Sakauye, knows the system is broken. She called it unsafe and unfair. A report that she commissioned found the same, and recommendations were made that largely have been adopted in our bill. Our own governor, 40 years ago, said that the bill is a tax on poor people in California. Thousands and thousands of people languish in the jails in this state, even though they have been convicted of no crime. Their only crime is that they cannot make the bail that our present law requires. And colleagues, the human impacts are devastating. When individuals who pose no risk to the public but don't have enough money languish in jail, so many devastating things can happen to them and their families, and they have. And it will continue unless we take action today. Individuals can lose their jobs because they're stuck in jail and can't show up for work. They can lose their cars because they're parked in a time-limited area and it gets towed away and they never see it again. They can lose their homes. If they're in jail and they can't pay their mortgage or their rent, they can even lose their kids if they're a single parent and there's no one to take care of their kids. All because, even though they posed no risk, they didn't have enough money in their pocket. And even those who are lucky enough to pay bail suffer, and suffer mightily. If they're able to scrape together the average unrefundable bail amount of $5,000 on a $50,000 amount bail, they often have to forego paying other bills or other things for their family. And colleagues, as this current broken system has created such unfairness, such injustice, it also has failed to make us safer, because it's not based on safety. It's not based on one's risk. It's based on wealth, an arbitrary and irrelevant factor, unrelated to risk and safety. People who don't show up for future court hearings and who won't show up for a future court hearing and are a safety risk can pay to get out if they can post the bail. The money bail system is designed to release people, regardless of their safety risk, if they have enough money, as long as they pay that steep fee, with no regard to danger to the public and with no consequence to the bail bondsman if that person who's released on their bail bond harms a member of the public. So what does this bill do? It moves us in a fairer direction, a safer direction. Every individual is treated as an individual. They're given an individualized risk assessment by a validated tool. There are pretrial services that are put in place to oversee, when safe, their release into the community with the least restrictive conditions. individuals no longer have to pay for any of those conditions. They don't have to pay for their electronic monitoring if that's a condition of their release. They don't have to pay for other conditions. For certain individuals who are arrested for low-level, non-serious, non-violent misdemeanors, with some exceptions, within 12 hours they'll be released back to the community safely. Others will get a risk assessment by pretrial services. They will be designated either low risk, which is a minimal risk, medium risk, which is a moderate risk, or high risk, which is a significant risk. For low-risk offenders, they will be released back into the community with the least restrictive non-monetary conditions safely. And for those in medium risk categories, some will go to a judge, some could be released at the pretrial services level. And then for the highest risk individuals, they'll go to a judge. And there they will have due process. They'll be represented by an attorney. They'll have a hearing. They'll be able to make their case. They'll be able to present the facts, arguments, the context of who they are to a judge, and be decided on based on their individual facts and circumstances, not based on how much money they have in their pocket. And these changes were guided by stakeholder meetings with social justice advocates and law enforcement folks, by judicial officers and civil libertarians and everyone in between. And we relied on the deep dive the Judicial Council did to help guide this policy that will make us safer and will be more just. And colleagues, this bill really relies on some of the foundational principles of who we are as a state and as a nation. That our system of justice should not be pay to play. That one's wealth should not be an obstacle to one's liberty. That we should be treated as individuals and assessed based on what we've done or not done, the facts and circumstances of who we are based on our conduct, our behavior, and not be subjected to some one-size-fits-all bail schedule that renders the individual invisible and treats you as a number or a pocketbook or an ATM. And that everyone should have their day in court, have an opportunity to make their case, be represented by an attorney, and present all the facts and circumstances that they wish to a neutral arbiter. Colleagues, this is a huge change for the better. This is transformational. We have an opportunity today to seize the moment and do something that will make California safer, that will make California more fair, that will make California more just.